What's up, guys? It's Mrjamvad, and today we're back on the Pokemon Showdown server. We're gonna be doing some Uber Live today. Shoutouts to Rectra for the team, featuring Banded Rillaboom today. While it reigns like dominant in OU at the moment, a lot of the legendaries and the main Pokemon you see in OU, in Ubers, aren't necessarily grassy terrain weak. Grassy glide weak. Eternatus, Necrozma, Zacian with the sword. If you notice mine doesn't have it, that's because I'm using the regular form. And you're like, Sam, why are you using the regular form? That's because the regular form has the advantage of being able to switch up moves. Not switch up moves, to be able to 2K Quagsire. I don't know if I want Psychic Fang over Wild Charge though. I think Wild Charge. No, Psychic Fang is primarily for Toxapex, and then I think he might out damage Flare Up on Eternatus. It might be a Oko, whereas Play Rough isn't. Most Eternatus don't carry a poison type move anyway, but I can see like situations with a Corviknight, Toxapex, McGear in a situation where I'm like, okay, I'd rather Wild Charge. So let me pause until we get one. And I don't know if I said it in this, but I was like, Rain is probably the best matchup for Rillaboom, and yeah, so even in this case, right, Grass is such a resisted move in this tier that it'll stop this from ever setting up or doing what it pleases, but everything else is walled except Pelipper. So I'm guessing this is like a Hazard lead style of like Hazard lead Scarm, then Overwhelm with. Either way, I think this is a done dealio. Once I get rid of this Scarm, because my Zacian just comes in and play rough KOs every single time, and I have a whole Necrozma for his Zacian, and I have a whole Mandibus for his Lunala, and I have a whole Eternatus for his Kyurem on the odd chance he gets to DD. I have a Ditto, and so it's all love. Well led. Though I don't think he's gonna have the cojones to trick or go for, oh, my opponent is that kind of guy. He's a ballsy kind of guy. He doesn't play these games. He doesn't love these hoes. So that's not the best. I do wish I had U-turn here. What I'll do is U-turn this hard because I figured you kind of have to switch there. And it'd be foolish of him to allow his Pelipper to get Dynamax cannoned here, and so I'd assume. Do I even need the? Yeah, this is a fairly no drawback play. So my opponent is probably not the best player. That just made no sense to U-turn there versus hard switching. Okay. I'll Thunder Wave. I can't Morning Sun like I'd like, but it does mean that I'll 2 KO like. And so unfortunately he has my Mandibuzz's heavy duty boots. Again, my opponent, the Dynamax play was just such a poor decision. I know he's gonna defog there, no surprise. I'm just stalling until I get Morning Sun freely as he scalls, fishing for the burn. So now he's gonna go for defog and then U-turn out, or he's gonna hard switch out, right? Okay, cool. And so now that he made that decision, I'm gonna play like now. I didn't think he'd ever go hard Pelipper there, but since he did it last time, I'm gonna stand. Good play with the spikes. So now I'm getting in a spot where I can copy his Eternatus and just destroy him. No reason not to Necrozma. I know he can't risk going for let me see, 57%. Yeah, Morning Sun is still the best play. Like if he SDs and I copy his Zacian, this game is over. So I figure, yeah. And so it's gonna get to a point where my Zacian is just gonna click either Wild Charge or, in fact, it's not getting to a place. The time is now. Fuck, I forgot to check. Did I click Find Battle before I changed? Yup. Yeah. So this blows because now I damn, that blows. If I had the wild charge there, that would have been clutch. But that's fine. I know Lunala's coming in here. And so while I love punishing the Skarm switch, he's starting to get comfortable, I can tell. Yeah. That flamethrower always here. Again, I completely disagree with the developer play, but I think based on how he plays, he's gonna keep predicting around, right? Like for example, right there, that play was completely unnecessary. But I'm not complaining because I mean it's gonna work out for me. I could have knocked him out there, but I won't go down to anything he goes for. Yeah, I expected a max quake, so I forced him out, wasted the Dynamax, but he does get to bring the Skarmory in. It's likely Shed Shell. How many turns of terrain? Okay. So he's gonna play the spike game. I can play that game too. So what this does now is, so let's say he opts for the Kyurem setup, because now he's gonna switch, right? He's gonna try to switch to something that he feels he can get a lot of offensive momentum out of, and so I'm gonna pivot to Eternatus. Oh, he actually stayed in. Oh, well, that's actually pretty rough for him. I'm gonna always recover here. Teleport is a non-factor, and now he has to keep, he has to keep, what's it calling? It's a question of does he have Moonblast or not. I do want this thing's sash broken or an item or whatever. Yeah, it'd be impatient of me to stay in here. I should be staring down Skarm again. Trying to reinstall because I'm trying to win with his. If he keeps playing reckless with his Skarm, I just copy his Zacian and counter sweep him. Yeah. And so I could actually, I don't have anything else to Dynamax, so actually I'm gonna Dynamax here in Max Darkness. He knows that I'm choiced, and so I'd assume that he'd predict me to switch out if he predict. Good. Yeah, I knew he'd do that. Excellent. And so he needed to keep his, not item, but like keep his like thing intact. But yeah, it's just very odd the jumping around in that battle, which is why I always recommend if you've read the book. In the beginning, you notice I focus heavily on structuring your play, and it avoids a lot of these situations where you're jumping around. I think it was in the BKC podcast. Also, on the contrary, out with Fufutu and with BKC. So you haven't checked those out, definitely check those out. Phenomenal episodes. All who listened loved it, so definitely check those out. But something I mentioned, it was akin to like somebody, like it's like somebody who knows how to fight, and then they're watching the other person like, hey man, I'm gonna punch you in the face, and he's like stretching, swinging, I'm gonna whoop your ass, man. And the other guy isn't saying a word, and he's jumping around, getting ready. Goes in to swing, and he just gets knocked out because the other guy, it's just theatrics, because you know what weak point you're looking for to hit if you know how to fight. Or you're watching his patterns, or you know where you're gonna strike, whatever that is. And so it's the same thing in Mons. You see people switching around. Oh, it looks flashy, and then get 6-0'd. Sometimes you have to because you don't have the matchup advantage, but in that situation, the opponent could have done so. So that's why. I was mentioning that I always allow Gothitelle to do a bunch of bullshit that I don't want it to do. Not today though, especially because he just loses to Eternity. So I figured he'd start off with this. So I was like, remember last episode is like all Choice Scarf variants, and I was gonna flamethrower there because I'm like, what if they're all like, what if it's Choice Scarf on this too? Because I knew he'd do this, but man, I should have done that. I was like, okay, they're all Scarf, so it's evident that Cinderace is just Choice Scarf now. That's like a thing. Okay, fair enough. Why am I heavy duty boots? I just realized that I don't like that, especially with Mandibuzz on this team. Oh, my Eternatus is Shed Shell. That's clutch. I wonder what Goth does. So Drill is his initial switch. I'm actually very curious as to what these Pokemon do. Like, I know what Drill would tend to do in a different circumstance. I know, like, I'm expecting rocks there and all that, but I was like, is there something else that I'm not seeing? But it seems to always be the case. Eternate is excellent. Assuming I connect here, it's good damage. Should recover or flamethrower if he has it. Yeah, no, wouldn't die based on how much high horsepower did. Come on, man. Come on, man. So I get to go hard Zacian here. I knew he'd do that, and now he can't guard against this Play Rough. I told you they don't generally carry Sludge Wave. Come on. What a joke this game is. That's what 2 KO right there. Toxic. I expected Toxic. So real recovery here. Now Toxic the Goth. Actually no. What if this is Trick or something? Is that what the fuck does this shit do, man? There are a couple ways I can go about this. Because what if it's not choice? I'm gonna go Ditto Hard first to see what happens. Okay, so it's like, okay, I know Shadow Tag Mons can switch out of Shadow Tag Mons. Okay, so he's Taunt, Cosmic Power, Restored Power, and maybe their max speed. But he can't sweep unless my Mandibuzz is dead. So pretty sure this isn't gonna do any kind of damage. Okay, and I just play rough hard here. See, you turns out into Quagsire. I mean, it could Power Ball too. But yeah, please connect this time. What? So what's the point of this Pokemon if it doesn't even 2-hit KO Quagsire? I thought it was a short 2-hit KO because this has higher attack than the other Zacian, I'm pretty sure. Like, as far as like being Choice Banded and having Intrepid Sword. Yeah, I was certain like a Choice Banded Play Rough was a 2-hit KO. I guess you have to be adamant. So yeah, this is a complete waste of my time then. What was his rocker? Excadrill. Okay. And so I get to taunt here as he expects defog as he tries to toxic. If he doesn't, then I'll set rocks up along with him. But I need certain conditions met as he just goes hard Eternate. It's not gonna do any kind of damage to me. So I've got some pretty bad situations here as far as oh my goodness, this is gonna be this phenomenal kind of game right here. This is just amazing. This is incredible. So I expected that. I mean, he's trying to scout if I have Thunder Wave. I think he can't 2-hit kill me, so that doesn't really matter. And he doesn't know anything about my set, so he won't go hard. Zacian. Mold Breaker. I don't recall if Mold Breaker goes through the. Yeah, excellent. Says Sash. So we're gonna be staring down Sash Quake. Either way, Rillaboom is just a better play. He is faster than me, which I'm not most fond of. I'm still gonna glide. Excellent. So I don't have to worry about the hazards. And positionally turning this is just incredible. Even if he's in headbutts, like Choice Guard Cinderace is way too weak. And he doesn't know that I have. Oh yeah, he doesn't know I have Shed Shell. So very interesting decision in going Zacian, considering it just invites back my this, which you don't want in. Can't even touch him outside. I'm gonna rocks first. Because it gets me value, hurt, Cinderace, all these good things, and that's what I figured. He's like comfortable staying in. My thing is I can't even revenge kill this thing without I can't believe Zacian can't 2-hit kill with a Choice Banded Play Rough. That's like super disappointing because it actually has pretty solid attack. So yeah, there's no point in me having this on the team. I should have just had a normal Zacian. Because I've 2-hit killed them before. I was probably adamant. That's probably what it was. Alright, so let's see. Because he's super weak to Rillaboom. It's getting to the point where I'm gonna just hammer him with the boom. So we're in a Thunder Wave here. Oh, that didn't miss. What? Impossible! As we're just gonna Quake. Because we're gonna Quake to the point where hopefully Flamethrower can knock this out. Or I just copy him. Yeah, Flamethrower certainly knocks him out from there. So my Eternatus is a problem for him because I'm Shed Shell. Massive problem for him. So his Goth can't even do what it wants. And so I'm gonna use that to my advantage. He's gonna get to take my what's his face there. And so if I'm holding positions that cannot be defended, I could have copied him there, but then he just go to Quagsire and his Zacian's still alive. Whereas me going into Eternatus means that he can't switch into anything he has on his team. So for example, here he goes to Goth. I get to Dynamax Cannon first, as he's gonna Cosmic Power, but this is gonna do good damage. Well, I thought it would do good damage. In my mind, it did good damage. So we go hard Zacian here. See taunts, excelente. And yeah, I just thought it did. So him taunting there is a pretty big deal because oh, he just stayed in. Never mind. He knew I couldn't switch, right? You're no Quagsire, buddy. So now at this point, my Eternatus just eats him up. And I assume he's just gonna Dynamax here. Dynamax Max Flare. Or he could Dynamax Max Airstream. I'm thinking if I want, I want this for his Eternate so I can play real spam though. Just based on the damage, probably like wouldn't even 2 KO. So that's why Psychic Fang I guess would be great here. But the likelihood of his Eternatus being even close to as fast as mine is pretty low. And so I think that all in all, attack. I know what I'll do. Force the Dynamax here, no matter what he goes for. So it does. You know, that's literally the reason why I didn't want to go hard Eternatus. So basically, what I thought was like, well, I could go Eternatus, waste a turn, but I was like, well, if he max Mindstorms banking on me giving him an opening, then I'm screwed, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, if I go Mandibuzz, have him max Flare, I double back to Eternatus on the next max Flare, then I'd go back to Mandibuzz, scouting for max Mindstorm. Sorry, I was looking at my phone. But yeah, that was interesting. I'm so glad that I didn't go, because at that point, what I had to do was think, well, how important is Mandibuzz to the end game? Not very, while burnt, right? Loses to Quags. It doesn't lose to Quag, but it'd take forever to stall it out, because I have taunt. I can like stall out his calls. It actually didn't. It actually beat the rest of his team, to be honest with you, because it had taunt. And so I could just taunt and root stall Eternatus out. So it probably already won, to be honest with you. But I understood that the quicker win kind of was to have Zacian versus that Eternatus and just play row spam it, because it's essentially +2 player. If I don't think he can out recover that +2 stat, you're bulky, but you're not that bulky. And if he can, that means my Eternatus outspeeds him, hit him with the Dynamax Cannon for the KO. Alright, so we got the final battle for time. So actually, it might not be, depending on how much time, how quickly this goes. But this is the type of opponent where it's like, okay, Psychic Fangs would be clutch here, but a Wild Charge at Pex. Like if I had a Zacian, I 6-0 him. I literally Swords Dance. If this is not Scarf, Swords Dance, this game's over. Not a speed tie, of course, but Close Combat, Wild Charge, Bandit Blade, Close Combat. Actually, maybe I need Play Rough. Maybe I wouldn't have swept. Not as easily as I thought. But Rillaboom can help versus Mewtwo. Typing naturally helps out with Zekrom. I guess the Dynamax factor is something I've been under like valuing. Yeah, the Dynamax factor is huge. Mandibuzz is going to be critical for Mewtwo. Zacian is, I need to predict perfectly with that. Necrozma, I cannot allow it to die. And then Reshiram, I just forfeit too. So all great things. Not really. I really have to play damn near perfectly with my Zacian to get a lot of mileage out of this game, methinks. And my Eternatus. But first and foremost, I need to chip away at that Toxapex heavily. I think he's gonna stay in. I don't know if this kills in one. If it doesn't, I don't know if Ferrothorn carries Gyro Ball and Ubers, like Body Press plus Knockoff or Leech Seed or whatever, it might be superior. Because Knockoff is heavy duty booster everywhere. I don't know enough about this guy to even attempt to Wild Charge here. He's 1286 because nobody's playing today, I assume. And so he's probably like, what is this? But nah, he knows enough to switch into auto fighting. Is that Rocky Helmet? No, it's Black Sludge. And so very likely some form of double switch here. It's Toxics, okay. I'm just gonna flamethrower spam until I burn this. Till I burn this. So he has knockoff. My shed shell is irrelevant. So what I'm gonna do is PP stall this Pokemon. Or maybe you'll switch here thinking that, yeah, I'll PP stall this thing. So now we flamethrower until I burn. I really don't know why he's knock spamming. So I've seen recover, knockoff. He might not have Scald, or he might just have Haze. Should recover here. What is he doing? Homie's tripping. And so I guarantee value out of the turn by flame. Alright, this guy doesn't know how to play. Okay, never mind. What the fuck? He was gonna sack his specs. Oh my god, man. That's my own fault. But I wasn't predicting because I needed to like make some flashy prediction. It would have cost me more for him to hard switch into Zacian hard than to switch into let's say a Mewtwo or something that can switch in on a fire move far easier. I think he's starting to get the message. I'm just trying to burn him, honestly. But he's giving me all his knockouts. I don't think he knows about pressure. I have quite a few flamethrowers left. Okay, so I'll kill this unless he's Scarf. He's Scarf, that won't kill me though. Why is he Scarf? Get out of here. Now I gotta like chill and come back in on the picks. Okay, so potential Ice Beam coming our way. We're gonna go Necrozma first. Psychic into, right? Just on the odd chance he had so he may go for Fire Blast. Mandibuzz is far more equipped. Thunder Wave, Life Orb, Mewtwo. Where am I? Help me, because I know not where I am. Okay. Sorry guys. The ladder I think is just kind of drained at the moment. I need to be at the utmost for that Reshiram. Ferrothorn. Okay. And so this Ferrothorn is gonna likely opt to go for hazards. I'm gonna try to taunt it, of course. This is Pokemon. I'll try to taunt it again so I don't have to get leech seeded. As he probably goes into Zacian. Yep. Phenomenal. But upside KNSD, so I can go neck a little easier. Anybody expected the defense drop? My Uber lies are generally like my most hacksy for some reason. Oh man, sometimes bro, sometimes. Let's try this again. Break. Do I have a break here? No, Behemoth Blade. It guarantees me value. If I break and he, yeah. My man's learning, I suppose. I'm gonna chalk it up to that. Help me. No Sacred Sword is here. Maybe you face too many light screens. But can tell that was a newer player. I could grab another one, but if I get a stall game, I'm gonna have to, like, I only have about 18 minutes